Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and welcome to an all new and my first Transformers animated What If on this channel. And so today we're going to be talking about what if the Dinobots actually helped here. Now, one of the few things I've actually seen in the comment section when I first announced this and actually made me think about it was that the Dinobots were just honestly underutilized. Kind of just felt there for mainly fan service, and yeah, you could actually say that they were, but they also seemed ungrateful and unappreciative of what the Autobots done, and frankly, they were a lot dumber than their G1 counterparts. So this is where we actually change a couple of things here. So let's go back to the episode of Season 1, Episode 6, Blast from the Past. The Dinobots are born the same way here, except here's the thing. We're going to be increasing their intelligence here so that they are just as intelligent as their G1 counterparts, meaning they do know how to fight, they do know how to communicate, and they actually understand what's being laid down before them here. Because again, there is no reason for them to be that dumb. I understand it's more childish, but again, the Dinobots are much more intelligent. So with them much more intelligence and with them actually being able to fight more and properly, this means that Bulkhead actually has to overpower the Dinobots a lot more smarter and not harder. So with that being said here, everything from the following episodes simply go the same, except for the episode where Meltdown tries to control the Dinobots. Yeah, that actually doesn't happen. Meltdown tries it, and pretty much he just finds out how the Dinobots just roll here. They just blast him off the island, like, automatically. So, yeah, obviously that episode's going to be changed a bit here. Not sure how I would do it in all honesty, but again, we are focusing on what's actually important. So now, without further ado, let us really begin this What If with Megatron Rising Part 1. Our story opens up the same, or our scene starts off the same, where Prowl and Bulkhead confess that yes, the Dinobots are alive, and Optimus is absolutely livid. Obviously, they kept this from him, his own teammates here. And so they go to talk to the Dinobots, to which at first they're met with hostility, but immediately stop upon seeing Prowl and Bulkhead, people who have helped them before, and now they're here for their help. To which GRIMLOCK, Slug, and Swoop, yes, we're calling him Slug here, I'm not calling him Snarl, you obviously know why. And so, with that being said, as the three Dinobots transform, Optimus is pretty much the only one in shock here. And so, with that being said, they now are able to convince the Dinobots to help them here. But how would they do it, you might ask here? Well, Prowl starts off with saying that he was wondering if they could actually pay him back for their help. To which the Dinobots are a little bit, okay, they're not too enthusiastic about it here. And so when Optimus mentions that the Decepticons are coming to Earth to destroy them and claim the Allspark, the Dinobots just kind of look at Optimus like, what the heck is an Allspark? Like, what is that? And to which now they have to figure out a way to really get the Dinobots to come, with them here. And this is where Bulkhead kind of thinks about it, and he kind of plays devil's advocate here. And he says that Megatron is one of the strongest and most terrifying beings in the universe, and he's probably stronger than GRIMLOCK. To which GRIMLOCK looks at Bulkhead like, excuse me? What did you say? To which Bulkhead says, yeah, it'd be crazy if the strongest being on Earth didn't challenge the strongest being in the universe to prove that his strength is superior, right? And understanding that he's probably being baited, and obviously in the words of TFS Vegeta, I know you're playing me, but you're right. And so with that being said here, the Dinobots actually go with the Autobots with the anticipation of him fighting against Megatron. And so just about everything plays the same with Bumblebee. He rolls up, tries to confront Starscream, and utterly fails here. However, Bumblebee is actually quickly saved by Swoop here, who actually blasts Starscream and begins engaging with him. This then leaves Slug to actually ram into both Blitzwing and Lugnut, and then obviously Megatron is resurrected like in the original. Or we could just say that Slug does ram into Blitzwing and Blitzwing holds him off, long enough for, Lugnut to insert the key into Megatron, no diddy, and basically revitalize him and give him his new body. However, this is where everything changes. As Megatron is about to finish off Prowl, this is where he is hit from the back, no diddy again, and sent flying into a building. Megatron says, "Who dares?" Into which he actually sees GRIMLOCK in his T-Rex form, and GRIMLOCK says that he dares. And this is where Megatron actually tries to convince the Dinobots, saying that considering he's their creator, they should actually be obeying him, considering the sheer fact that the two strongest beings could work together. And, he tries to pull some of that sly Megatron stuff here. Into which GRIMLOCK says, "No, me, GRIMLOCK, does not share power. It is all mine." Into which Megatron, trying to be slick here, tries to use his fusion cannon, but GRIMLOCK is able to use his fire breath and actually counters it pretty well here. This is where GRIMLOCK transforms and actually unleashes his flame sword upon Megatron, trying to blast him with fire. However, Megatron, utilizing his skill, is able to get out of the way in time and actually even parry some of the fire before rushing down GRIMLOCK. So the two now go back and forth. Two swords versus one. Albeit that is one big fire sword. And so this is where the strength difference actually does come in here. GRIMLOCK is actually able to slice right through Megatron's dual blades and, well, actually strike him pretty hard here. This is where Megatron then unloads his fusion cannon and actually blasts GRIMLOCK back here. Understanding that he is probably not in a winning situation here, Megatron calls for his Decepticons to retreat. And this even includes Starscream, who's actually going toe-to-toe with Swoop at the moment and losing here. And so, for a moment, Megatron actually forgets about Starscream's betrayal and, well, they actually go after the Allspark together here. And so, with that being said, the Autobots then rendezvous with each other, understanding what they have to do here. And so, Optimus, Prowl, Bumblebee, Bulkhead, GRIMLOCK, Slug, and Swoop all transform and go at the Decepticons. However, due to the fact that they actually know where their ship is, they're actually able to make way a lot quicker than the original. And, well, this kind of leaves a situation. Considering there are now multiple Decepticons like Lugnut, well, sorry, not multiple Decepticons, I should say here, multiple Autobots, I should say here. This actually changes the battle significantly here. Optimus, utilizing his axe and stuff here, along with GRIMLOCK, is actually able to take on Megatron in a 2-on-1 situation, actually battling him on the aboard, the Ark here, I should say here, or, obviously Omega Supreme, right? So, battling him aboard the Ark here, GRIMLOCK and Optimus are actually able to work together decently enough here to actually overpower and then push Megatron. Meaning one thing, the Allspark does not get dispersed in this timeline here. But let's go outside with the other Autobots. Bulkhead and Slug are able to overwhelm and actually disable Lugnut a lot quicker, with Lugnut trying to go for his a double nuclear punch in this timeline here. However, Bulkhead from one end and Slug from another one actually utilizes their, well, Wrecking Ball and Flaming club respectively here, and simply throw it at Lugnut's 2 nuclear hands and just blow him out. Now, as for Blitzwing, the Autobots actually utilizes Swoop's superior flying capabilities to his advantage, with Prowl actually guiding Swoop and telling him how to maneuver so to best counteract the, well, triple changer in his jet form. And believe it or not, the Autobots are actually able to not only overwhelm the Decepticons in this timeline, but again, drive them back. But this leaves one uncertain character, Starscream. Starscream actually has to help the Decepticons in this timeline because, again, for the moment, he did try to portray himself as a loyal second in command to Megatron here. And so, with that being said here, I would probably say he does engage with Swoop here. However, Swoop lures him down, and thus the combinations of Bumblebee, Bulkhead, Bumblebee, Ratchet, and Prowl are actually able to disable Starscream pretty quickly and injure him badly. Now, this actually leaves one other thing. What happens to the Decepticons? Well, believe it or not, they have no choice but to find a way to ultimately retreat. However, just before they are able to get away, Swoop is able to snatch the key slickly from Megatron and actually give it back to Sari, which again also means Professor Isaac Sumdac is now around in this in this newer timeline, excuse me. Now, this actually means that, well, they won. And they won better than the original timeline here. Now, again, you could say that the Dinobots are in more of an increased intelligence stage, but you might be asking, Legendary, why didn't you bring up Megatron's skill? Well, because it's never really emphasized that he's a skilled warrior or what level of skill he has. You see, most of the Autobots in the franchise are basic when it comes to hand-to-hand fighting. They're pushing, shoving, throwing punches and stuff like that there, and we don't know much about this version of Megatron except that he's just the evil Decepticon leader, but he is good with swords here. So it's kind of up in the air with characters like Prowl, Jazz, and anyone else who ever did Cyber Ninja training, or Metallico if you will. They're actually known to be the most skilled Cybertronians. And, well, yeah, they know how to use their weapons, but again, you could know how to use a sword and still get outskilled by somebody in a hand-to-hand fight. Yeah, it kind of is what it is here. So, in all honesty, it's weird with Transformers Animated here. But with that being said here, this now leaves one big thing. What do they do with the Dinobots there? And so I would actually think GRIMLOCK would actually feel triumphant that he actually got a chance to prove that he's one of the strongest beings, if not the strongest being in the universe, kind of overinflating his ego here. And so GRIMLOCK would actually say that he wants another rematch against Megatron. To which Optimus says, well, for right now, they're actually going to have to wait on that right now. Everyone kind of needs repairs right now. To which GRIMLOCK is a bit disappointed, but decides that he and the Dinobots want to actually stay with the Autobots here. And so, with Isaac Sumdac still here in this timeline, Sari does not need to leave home. However, I would actually say she does visit the Autobots a bit more and actually does get a room there because of, again, I think Sari would like to hang out with the Dinobots. I mean, it's still, you know, a little girl meeting fire-breathing dinosaurs. Now, sure, they did kidnap her a couple times and almost tried to kill her, but hey, we can let bygones be bygones, right? Oh wait, now that I think about it, they wouldn't have kidnapped her in this timeline because they're a lot more intelligent. And so, after seeing Meltdown and, you know, Meltdown trying to, you know, mess around and fortunately he just found out, this means that Sari actually has a better relationship with the Dinobots here, and they actually do like her. They're actually careful around here. However, one thing is definitely for certain here is that the Dinobots actually want to learn how to fight from Prowl, to which he says that they really wouldn't be able to use Cyber Ninja training. However, he takes a good look at Swoop again and says, like, okay, maybe Swoop can, but he does, you know a decent amount of hand-to-hand fighting to know, give the Dinobots and maybe any other Autobot the edge here, to which Bulkhead and Bumblebee both decline, and so Prowl begins to train with the Dinobots on an individual level, actually getting to know them a bit better, how they want to fight. And so he actually teaches GRIMLOCK how to utilize his, well, I guess you could say much more balanced body to his advantage here, actually utilizing his sword and actually utilizing his fire breath to actually be able to manipulate it better. With Slug, he kind of teaches him to fight a bit less recklessly like Bulkhead, actually utilizing his weight and actually, I guess you could say throwing his weight around in a more controlled fashion. And this actually translates to Bulkhead, where Prowl has now figured out how to train Bulkhead properly, and so Bulkhead himself also becomes a better fighter. This would then translate to Swoop, who actually is able to perform the Cyber Ninja training a lot better than the rest of the Dinobots. As a matter of fact, I think Swoop would actually be the one to go ahead and actually utilize the full totality of Cyber Ninja training, or Metallico. Now, let's actually talk about Isaac Sundak and his company. His company would actually be a lot better in this timeline here. With him realizing and utilizing the mistakes here, this means that several things that really don't happen. This means that Powell never takes over his company and doesn't kick Sari out, which is important here. But also, Sundak is able to stay with the Autobots, meaning he's not making any dampeners for the Autobots as well here. So that just leaves one thing. Where do the Decepticons go? Well, after taking this beating and after realizing that they, took a very heavy loss here, I think Megatron would definitely interrogate Starscream on where the rest of the Nemesis actually is here. And so, with that being said here, Starscream would have no other choice but to take Megatron to the Nemesis, to which the Decepticons actually utilize it as their base of operations. And so, when everyone is prepared, Megatron does the one thing he needed to do, and that is blast Starscream. And so, Starscream begins to panic, acting like he didn't do anything wrong, as he would. And so, Megatron says while he would love to kill him right now, he knows good and well he's more useful to him alive than dead. And so, this is where Megatron begins to think now. He now just sits there, contemplating, with, well, Starscream now having to repair himself again. And, that kind of just has to happen, right? So, with that being said here, Megatron's just thinking for the moment. He needs to find a way to contact Cybertron. And so, still having the Decepticon communications up, this is where he contacts Shockwave, wondering just how in the heck what does he do now? How is everything even going on Cybertron right now? To which Shockwave gives him the confirmation and everything here. But he also says for Megatron to be careful as the Elite Guard are entering his orbit. And so, this actually changes another episode, the Elite Guard, to where Optimus actually has the Allspark in the original timeline. And so, one of the other things that needs to happen is, what do they do here? How do the Dinobots interact with Sentinel, Jazz, and Ultra Magnus? Well, Jazz is pretty cool. I don't think there would actually be a problem here. And I actually think that Sentinel and Ultra Magnus would both be taken aback by the origin of the Dinobots here. Cybertron is that turn into beasts here, and I actually think Sentinel would actually insult Grimlock here, and this is where Grimlock simply decks him, likely through the hull of the ship here. To which I can actually see Grimlock and Sentinel actually having a fight here. And not a good one here. To which I actually could see Optimus and maybe even Prowl a little bit, just kind of like, giving him a sly smile across their faces here, as Grimlock just starts to floor Sentinel pretty badly, and hardly as well here. And this is where I could feel like Sentinel feels embarrassed here. Sentinel feels, honestly, like his pride took a nosedive. And when I mean a nosedive, I mean it took a straight-up Star Raptor aerial ace straight into the ground. Alright? He got beat by some brute, and he's an Elite Guard. Crazy, ain't it? And so, Ultra Magnus having to be the one to break up the fight, to which the Dinobots actually respect the power of his hammer in the first place. And Grimlock actually, shows off his own power by actually utilizing his fire, and utilizing the fire sword, I should say here, and actually creating a fire tornado to match Ultra Magnus's lightning. To which Ultra Magnus is impressed by the show of strength and responding strength with strength. If you guys get what I mean. So with that being said here, the Autobots actually decide to decipher or decide to bicker among themselves for a little bit here. No arguing, no nothing like that here. And Sentinel still has that bitterness in his heart, still feeling like he got played. He got outclassed by these nobodies. And again, he does not want to let this get out at all. Even saying to Optimus that this does not leave Earth at all here. And so, now the Autobots have a reason to actually stay on Earth here. The fact that there are Decepticons. However, this has yet to be proven. And so, with that being said here, the Autobots actually really just need to think about where did the Decepticons go here. And so, they actually don't have a really good way of tracking them. Until this happens. Remember, the Decepticons needed to get communications, right? And so they stole it from the elite guard and stole their transmitter, which was underneath their ship. I don't even know why. Like, that to me, that seems like a very poor design choice, having your communications just under the ship here. But here's what happens, right? Megatron, Starscream, Lugnut, and Blitzwing stage an all-out attack on the elite guard here. And they catch them by surprise here. Keep in mind, they're on the moon. Everything that has to deal with their tracking systems and stuff right there actually involves with Earth here. And believe it or not, some of the humans do get caught in the crossfire, which actually gets Sari caught in the crossfire here, and she actually gets cut, and this actually reveals her more cybernetic side a lot earlier than it did in the original timeline. And so with that being said here, this is where the Dinobots actually show out and actually outshow the elite guard here. However, with there being multiple Decepticons and Decepticons still having flight capabilities, meaning they have a speed advantage to a certain degree here, Starscream is the one to take the communication system and just jettison off in a random direction here. And Swoop tries to follow him, but he's immediately gets his wings frozen by Blitzwing, causing him to fall to the ground here. And so the Decepticons actually retreat. But we do get some good fights here, such as Lugnut being able to fight against multiple Autobots at once here. We have Grimlock and Ultra Magnus actually taking on Megatron. And we actually see Blitzwing versus a few other Autobots along with Slug trying to hold him off. And then we do have the usual Starscream versus, Swoop battle here in aerial battle, excuse me. And, well, Swoop does get away. Oh, sorry, Starscream does get away with the transmission, like I said earlier, before Blitzwing actually covers him and freezes him with ice. So, with that being said here, yeah, Megatron actually gets away with the Decepticon or the Autobots communication. And so, he finds Starscream. Starscream's on the moon, and Starscream presents it to Megatron. And this is where Megatron actually gets into contact with Team Char, Striker, Blackout, Spitor, Cyclonus, and Oil Slick. And Megatron tells them they're coming to Earth and they're coming here now. And so that is where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Team Char is coming to Earth. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.